Hello, shooters, loaders, and casters. Welcome to the Georgia Shooting Connection Friday Night Live stream. We hope y'all are doing well and happy. And with that, we'll get started. How was your week, CW?
Pretty good. Pretty good week all in all. We had some beautiful fall weather again. I don't think we hit 80 degrees most of the week. We had 40s and 50s overnight. We did have a dry week here. No rain at all. So got to the range a couple times. I got a couple of around the yard stuff done. It's a good week. Billy, how was your week?
Oh man, my week was doing good, man. We had great weather this week. Man, it always just it feels good to go outside and do something when you have the weather cooperating like that. And man, just looking for another fine Friday night with all you folks and awesome side chat out there. Man, glad to be here. Thank you very much for having me. Six, how's your week?
Oh, pretty good. Thanks for letting me be here again. And went to the range Sunday, got a few videos made. They've already posted all but one. It'll be on in the morning. Another good work week, other than my hours got cut down to 40 hours this week. So got to tighten up the budget a little bit. So that's about it for me. How about you, Walter?
I had a really good week. But, being retired and being in charge of your own self, you get to have weeks like that pretty frequently. So I got to the range a couple times, and let's see, Tuesday I went to lunch with a friend. We got a gal here locally who runs a deli sandwich shop, not affiliated with any of the big names, and she does a glorious job of putting together a sandwich. You better bring your appetite when you go to her place for a sandwich. So we got us a couple sandwiches and went out to one of the local wineries, which happens to also be a working cattle ranch. They're way out in the country. There are nobody around, way away from the airport, so you're not hearing the ospreys and the fire bombers and all that kind of stuff. And all you hear is cattle making a lot of racket, and Ophelia, the local vintner's cat, who comes up and be's a real bitch in front of you, and all that fun stuff that you get out in the country. Had a great lunch, and then Wednesday I spent at the reloading bench, and Thursday I went back to the range, and today I went kayaking and cleaned up the guns that I shot yesterday and prepped up a couple molds for a big casting day tomorrow. So how much better can that get, you guys? So thanks for having me. I'm glad to see the side chat popping up over there. You guys are looking good already, and it's going to be a fun night. We got a good topic tonight. So Andy, Dr. Zink, the Zink Master, his own self, is right here. How's your week go, Andy? You're muted, Andy.
Okay. Now I'm not. Everything was going good until I muted myself. I was looking up something because I think the email address I gave him is to a different account because when I go online and check my email, list, you can see the email. It has one address, and when I go on the account, it's another address. So I don't know. Anyway, Thorzak's, whatever email he gave you, use that one. Otherwise, all was good. I got a full 4-pounder and a almost full 1-pounder of Winchester 296 for $20. So that was good. And Thorzak's is just looking to get some tin. So you've got my email. I don't know if I got anything yet. Went to the range, did some shooting, all good. Ton of brass. Guy surprised me with a bucket full of 9mm. Not that I need it anymore, but he took the time to save it for me, so I took it. And that's about it. And down below, I guess we'll Pat in the bunker.
Thank you, Andy. Yeah, sorry. I know y'all. It's been a hot minute since I've been on, and I apologize. It's either something going on or something comes up, or I've been training or something. Man, it just seems like Friday evenings has just been packed and busy sidewalk. I could go on and on, but anyway, no, I'm glad to be back home here on Friday nights. So hopefully I can start making this kind of a semi-regular or regular thing again. Hopefully I get woed up a little bit, and yeah, just been doing a lot of training, farming, ranching, sidewalk, three wheelers, just did everything. It's been too nice outside to not be outside, so I guess that's kind of my slogan. So, but anyway, I'm glad to be on tonight, and that side chat is just ticking along. She's a rolling. So, but anyway, Jamie, how's your week been going?
I generally don't talk about my week, man. I generally let y'all do the talking, and I just sit here and mash buttons. Thank all y'all for joining this panel, the side chat. We got 41 already, and we just started. Y'all humble us like crazy, and I I thought of something to say to Pat, but I'm not going to say it in this format because it's
Oh, you can say it. You
I
can
would
say it. I'm
be
a big boy. I'm a big boy. I can take it.
I would be less of the man I expect of myself if I said something like that. So we'll just
Oh,
let that slide by.
okay.
But hang around for the after chat. I might share it with you then.
Okay.
So,
All right.
yeah, guys, we got an interesting topic to me anyway. And when I see a particular individual in the side chat, there's Mr. Pollard. Hey, James. I will get started. Yeah, Tactical Rabbit. I did see Mr. Gene and Miss Chrissy and Ricky Baird was there, and I got a video I'm gonna put out to hopefully tomorrow about that encounter and the 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 Marlin 336 that I picked up for Gene is now in its hopefully permanent home, and yeah, see Ricky Baird there. You know why he says not me like that? This is what he did. He wouldn't get in any of the pictures, except for one. I do have him. I have him in one picture, so there is proof. And he was like taking pictures, and yeah. That he
Yeah.
can be camera shy, as y'all saw if you saw my last video. And guys, I don't generally blow my own horn around here. Y'all think y'all know me better than that, but something happened uh, when I after I uploaded and turned that video live, the one about the scope that we've pretty much all of us have done reviews on that scope, but they gave me a 10% off code. So if you go back and watch that video and check out the description, um, there's a 10% off code in the
Oh,
description.
cool. I didn't see that, and I need another scope from them.
Yeah, I've got one as well.
Well, it's not just on that particular scope. It's off
Yeah,
anything on their website. So
yeah. They got some good looking rings too, man.
those rings are just awesome,
Yeah.
man. They're,
Well, the six shooter did uh, a video with some of those rings, if I'm not mistaken.
This, the Discovery rings.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna need another set myself.
I think they're 7075 is the number for them. And man,
Yeah.
those are great rings.
Yeah, those are, I mean, all of the information that they've got encrypted in there for the torque settings and all that other stuff that's on there is like, I've never seen one quite like that before.
uh, Wait a minute. My up arrow still don't work, y'all. But never fear. Mouse. Oh, and I will share with y'all one thing. Um,
First world problem.
I think I can do that, Big Al. I'll see if I can get that link for y'all and put it on a banner. Um, Dang, Daniel, I love you, brother. That's all I'm gonna say to that.
On a related note, if you guys haven't seen Hobby's Hobo lately, he did a really great video on a cornbread recipe that I hadn't seen quite the same before, and I'm going to try it. It was just this week that he put it up there, and it looked really good.
Yeah,
It didn't have no Jiffy mix at all, and then lots of bacon.
he had sausage in there.
Oh yeah,
He had all kinds of good stuff in there.
yeah, it just looked incredible.
Sounds real good.
Yeah, check out Hobby's Hobo.
Yeah, they're more better.
So Bulldog and Papa, those guys, they were right in line with Francine, and that's I had asked in the side chat there how Senior Master Sergeant made out, and he said that's why he said it blew right over top of them and knocked out Power, but they came through okay, and I think Papa Les came out okay also. But that was a scary situation, for you guys out there. We've got our fires blowing like crazy and earthquakes down there where Walks Fletcher is. We had a pretty good series of earthquakes. Was it yesterday or day before? Up in the five range, and those are enough that'll work the nails loose out of your out of your studs. And we've got some big fires in Southern California right now, nasty, burning up a bunch of houses and stuff. I guess it's pick your poison, right? And there's no safest place in this great country of ours to live. There's going to be trials and tribulations no matter where you pick. It's going to be weather. It's going to be something. You got to learn to deal.
Our weekend last weekend was beautiful. Then it turned into almost here comes a hurricane, but we dodged that hurricane. So that got the guys over in Louisiana.
Yeah, at first you guys were looking like you were right in line, Six. It looked like it was going to come right up through your neck of the woods, but
yeah, I seen a deal spinning a few years back about as far as weather goes, and injuries, from fires, all this stuff, storms, was the safest state so far in the United States. And the answer blew my mind, but it was Hawaii, which is literally a volcano.
yes, and right on top of a hot spot.
I never would have figured it.
But they don't let them have guns in Hawaii. That's why, right?
Yeah.
It's all about the gun. It's all about the guns. We all know that.
I just thought, who'd think the safest place is on a volcano?
Isn't that something? There's Hasbro. Hasbro, we see you, buddy. Listen and drive safely.
Hey, Hasbro.
Yeah, be careful, Hasbro.
Mr. Bob out there too.
I don't know. I can't send an email to me either, but the address is active, so I don't know what's going on. My Andy T 2x2 is not working, but it's listed as the address, so I can't go figure.
There's Lever Guns 50. Good to see him out there this evening.
Yes, sir.
But then again, it didn't come back as bad. That's the other side of it. That's weird.
I just sent you a hello, Andy.
Which email was it? Andy T2?
Yeah.
2x2? Yeah, I
No.
got it. Okay.
Just a hello. There's nothing in the body.
Yeah, but you sent it to Andy T2 at or Andy
Yeah.
T
Andy
2x2?
T2 at. No,
Okay.
T2 at.
Okay. That's my regular email. It says my Gmail account has it forwarded to that email address. So I don't know why that email address is not working.
I don't know. That's the one I gave to Dave. So
Yeah, no, that one you sent me is my personal account. The Gmail that I use is on my Gmail account, and nothing. I'm sending to it, and nothing's coming, and I'm sending from it, and nothing's coming. But it's not coming back as bad either. So I don't understand what's going on. It's going out to Neverland. Okay, well, he's got the right email address now. He just hasn't sent me anything yet.
Okay, if y'all want me to put this code back up later, let me know and I will.
Leave it up for a second, Jamie. You put it back up. I want to write it back down. I'm just now getting it. There you go. JH586 MS39.
He doesn't have what I want, or I would buy it.
Got it. Well, I really like the looks of their stuff, and and when we had him on, a couple of the chats in recent times, he's such a great guy to talk with, and he seems to listen to what people want, and the company seems to listen to what shooters want, and
Yeah.
I respect that.
That impressed me at the after show when he was showing us the spreadsheet of all the things that we had mentioned. He had done put into that spreadsheet.
Mm-hmm.
And then he talked to us for another 20, 25 minutes, wanting more ideas. And
Yep.
That is the kind of business that we as shooters, any company in any business, if you listen to your customers and give them what they want at a price they can afford to pay, you'll do well.
That's right. Yeah, and you'll kill the opposition. The opposition being those who want to put out as a product what they think people should have at a price that will make them the absolute most amount of profit in a short amount of time. That's what seems to be the norm these days. But when you get an outfit like Discovery, those guys, I'm impressed with what they do. Monstrum also. I like Monstrum's products so far. They've.
I got a question for CW.
I got another Boxford over there.
Yeah, I got a question for CW. I want to get a what do they call it? Offset cantilever Picatinny scope mount.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, there's so many out there, and I don't know what all the differences are because I still have to move my scope further forward on that Rossi. So, how much further does that extend? Is it like 2 inches?
It's probably only going to be an inch or so, maybe a little more.
Well, if I mount, I'm just trying to figure out if I'm mounting it on my Picatinny rail at the most forward position, it looks like the rear scope ring would be over that. So
there is different ones you could pick up a little bit more.
Well, I'm not trying. I don't. My point. I mean, Monstrum has a cheapie that I can play with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, for like $17.
Yep.
CV Life has one for $18.99. They both look like they don't have specs that I'm looking for, like the height. How high is it to the base of the scope? Where the mounts are. I'm not getting that dimensions because if it's too high, I'm in trouble. If it's too low, I'm good.
Do they make a forward mount for that? I know, like I have some that, where they mount, the rail goes up a little bit and then the Picatinny rail sits farther forward.
Well, I'm trying to move the scope forward on the rifle, not backward, further away from my eye. And I'm at the last possible spot on the Picatinny rail, so I can't move the scope any further forward than I am. I don't know if I only need 1 inch more or 2 inch more. I mean, it's only $18, $20. It's not a big deal. It's not like I'm buying a $50 unit here.
Yeah.
So that's all I'm trying to get at. Because I haven't decided. It's much better than it was, but I find if I push the rifle a little bit forward off my shoulder, I see the scope better. So it's still not far enough forward. And it says 8 inches is 8 to 10 inches. I'm at 11 inches now. Okay. And if I guess make it 12 or 13, it might make all the difference in the world. I keep having to fish for the scope. I can't find it. And it's not high. It's like left and right to me. I have to move a little bit. So,
Hey, Gene,
What's up, Gene?
You look like the supreme leader there in what is that TV show? The Battlestar Galactica.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, man. That or the Emperor from Star Wars.
I'm a.
You get
way
the,
back in the range.
The audio.
Yeah,
no
you're
good, Gene.
you're roboting like crazy, Gene.
real choppy.
Andy, there are two different ones from Monstrum. Just to give you a heads up on that, they've got what they call more like their precision series
Right.
cantilever. Then they've got their regular one. I've had really good luck with just a regular one. I have not had any dealings with their newer, more precision one. So I don't know. I think they're still set up the same as far as the cantilever itself, you know, moving the scope forward and everything on it. But yeah, I've just from everything, and I've got two of them on a rifle that rides in the truck with me all the time, has never been knocked out and everything for the one for $17.
Yeah. 18.
$17, give it a whirl.
Yeah, well, I was looking at $16.99 for the cheapy Monstrum, the slim profile they call it. Okay, and then but CV Life has for $18.99. Theirs though I know has the locking studs for the rail, where the cheaper Monstrum doesn't, according to this. And then you got to go up to like. You have an 8 series, I think ultralight. I think that's the one that Monstrum has, is like $30.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay. Yeah. You know, I have to spend $30 to get the same thing that I can get for CV Life. And I know Hot Pot I like CV Life. I have a lot of their scopes, but I don't have any. The rings they send with their scopes are ridiculously high and kind of cheap made, but they work. You know, but I would think that I would either go with the cheaper Monstrum or the CV Life first.
Absolutely.
We can
I'm
hear
not going to
Gene.
make. I'm not going to make it on the chat tonight. I'm just now leaving the range and going back to the hotel. Been a long day. Been hot. Alabama, baby.
Alabama.
Africa hot.
Man, humid, rainy, hot. But let's see. My gun would be my 35 Remington because that's special to me because it's my second one and it's from Brother Jamie.
There's two guys that are 35 rim folks right there. I'm surrounded.
Yep. And I'll tell you what, Jamie went above and beyond with this. And I love you, brother. You don't know what that means to me. Yeah, you do, but I want to tell you that it means the world.
Very good. I'm glad you like it, and I can't wait to. I hope you've had a chance to get it back to your room and really get a good look at it. And...
Oh, he did, Jamie.
I did.
Well, y'all
I've
go.
had it out. I've had it out a few times, looking at it and looking at it and looking at it.
He's like a kid with a new toy.
So I'm gonna get some ammo loaded up, and I'm gonna do some videos on it. I'm gonna do me an entire series on 35 Remington.
I know somebody that did that once.
I think I've seen that series too, as a matter of fact. But thank goodness my car's got this autopilot on it. I'll tell you that.
All right.
But you guys have a good chat. Have a great evening. I love y'all, and take care of yourself. And remember, it's only once around the ride, so always remember to keep blowing that smoke.
Very good, Gene.
We'll see you,
All right.
Gene.
Night, everybody.
Be safe, buddy.
Yeah.
Thanks for stopping by.
Have a good one, Gene.
Uh-oh. Uh-oh.
Good night, Miss Hot Pot.
Down, Walter.
Good night.
Good night, Chrissy.
Night.
Good night, Christine.
Night.
Hey, we've got
Good
us a
night.
sighting. And here we go. On 3, 2, 1. Hey! How you doing, Mario? Can you do it, Gene? Can you lay it on him? The West Coast weirdo.
West Coast weirdo.
There it is, right from Gene's mouth. Thank you, Gene.
Night,
Perfect.
everybody.
Good night.
Y'all.
We'll see you, buddy.
Hey, we're not here to have fun or anything, fellers. So just, in case you were wondering.
We're totally professional and upstanding.
Right.
Eventually, we'll get to our topic too, but first we're going to go to and call out the side chat. So, what can we type in?
I don't know if you guys can spell this, but we're going to type in special. Just like that. See if you can spell. You don't have to spell it correctly. Get close. It's that I before E thing.
Except after C.
Yeah, Brian's after C today, but that's a different kind of C.
All right. I'm
Nice.
sure we got 48. We've had 42, and I'm at 52 and
Wow.
3, I think, already, and we hadn't even got to our topic yet, which is going to be.
And look at them fly over there. Wow.
And we're going to be talking about special guns and what makes them special. So, obviously, the first one to type it in was Walter because he made it up. So,
Bless
Yeah.
his heart, and he's special.
yes, and he is on the panel and in the side chat. So is Andy 79Z28 and CW Longshot and 6-shooter Texan and Andy 79Z28 and Pat in the Bunker. There's Bama Dad's out there. He's also in Bama Lama, obviously. Edward Petty's out there. Ricky Baird. Kentucky Rimfire and Hobbies is out there. Patriot Paul, 44. Yes, baby. You'll like what I got to show later then. Rollis Carvelis. James Pollard, Senior Master Sergeant Bulldog, GGW Outdoors. Chris Lang. Glenn Davis. Trees of Blowing Videos. What's going on out there, brother? Bobby Barlow. James Pugh. Fluffy 10mm Jeep Guy. Hillbilly Up is on the panel and in the side chat. He says 38 special. Yes, sir. Tactical Fud. Chris Hester. Sorry. Mike Hester, Chris Lang. I'm sorry, guys. I made y'all into one person right there. Mike Hester, the Rebel, is out there. Chris Lang is out there. GGW Outdoors again. Timothy Burkett's out there. Stephen M. Mann, 01 guy. Bama Dad's doing something. I don't know what that is. Paul Loud. Tommy Boy says, bless his heart. I'll tell y'all about that in just a minute. Put that up there. Ron 2A Matters. And let's see. Tim S is out there. And I think that's all. Paul Loud says 357 extra special. Glenn Davis, 38 special wad cutters. Yeah, baby. And is that everybody?
You got it. You didn't say John yet.
Who?
Fukuyt. Boomstick.
Short for boom.
Fuku YT?
Fukuyt.
He did that on purpose.
He did. He said he was waiting for you to say it too.
Yeah, and I said it. So there you go. And William C. Chapin is in here. He says he's late to the party. Curtis is probably one of them guys that come into a party late because he's got that eye candy on his arm. You know what I mean? And Tommy Boy will vouch for this. When somebody tells you bless your heart, that ain't really what they mean, is it, Six?
Sometimes.
What does it mean, Hillbilly?
Well, there's, I think, a few different ways depending on how it's said.
Yeah.
Most usually, when it's said, you ought to be able to figure out what it means.
Right.
So,
This is a
Hint of
Your
sarcasm.
baby's ugly, bless his heart.
this is the way I interpret it, and I'll clean it up for and quote Fred Sanford and saying, "You big dummy."
Well, that was nicer than what I was going to say, but
Yeah, it's nicer than what immediately popped into my mind too. So.
well, if you're going off the Michael Waltrip definition, it means you're an idiot.
Yeah.
Yeah, and Chris Lang says we all know what it means. Okay, enough of my Southernisms. All right, we want to talk about special guns and what makes them special. This is the thing. What we're not talking about here tonight is guns with sentimental value because those are probably the most special to us. If we have an older gun from one of our ancestors, our grandfather, our dad, obviously we're going to hold those in special a special place in our heart. And,
High regard.
absolutely. And Thorzak's back, and I want to say I appreciate Gene popping in the way he did. He went out of his way to come in and say, "Hey, he's out. He's at some kind of national shooting event there at Talladega at the Civilian Marksmanship Program range." And Hasbro says 270 Winchester. And Walks Fletcher will tell you that is the greatest cartridge in the history of man. And who am I to argue with Walks? So what we're talking about is guns that are special pretty much because they were made to be special and what makes them special. And who wants to start this out? I mean, y'all want me to go first? You want me to go last?
You can go last. I'll go first if you want.
There you go.
Yeah, have you
Go
got
for
some pictures?
Not that I can bring up, no. The first gun would be 1978-ish, Dan Wesson, 357. The kit, 2.46, 8 and 10-inch barrels. Took my third deer with that. And that was one of my competition guns that I used in trainer point matches. And the other gun also used in my competition was my made in 1964 Hamley American 207 and 22 long rifle. And those two of my most favorite guns. You shot those the most out of everything I have. By a long shot, not by a little bit.
Cool. Yeah, good.
And
So guys,
considering what I paid for the Dan Wesson when I bought it, that kit was only $599.
that was an enviable kit when they came out with those back in the day, you know, with all of the, you know, you could get what, 3 barrels with that kit?
Well, you could buy
Yeah.
it 2, 4, and 6.
Yeah.
I got it with 8 and 10.
Yeah. I mean, it was, everybody looked at that and went, oh man, I had an opportunity to get a set, and I passed by. I was just kind of starting out and with work, getting off the ground and doing, you know, office kind of work, school teaching instead of shoeing horses and stuff. And I didn't have the proverbial pot, so I couldn't really afford it. But boy, did I want that.
Oh, yeah, I love that. I mean,
I had a friend that had one of them. They were nice.
I sold the 10-inch barrel a few years ago for $1,500.
Whoa.
Right, so I paid for the gun 3 times
Nice. Yeah.
because
I'd
I
have kept
wasn't really using it anymore. I bought that barrel originally for hunting, and it was scoped. So I mean, back then it's a $100 scope. You know,
I seen one
Mhm.
at the last gun show I went to. I seen it all in the kit. Everything was there.
Got a price on it?
I don't remember.
They're going for the kit.
I'm sure it was a couple grand.
The
Yeah.
kit that goes from 2 to 6. If it's in good shape, very little blue wearing type thing, they're going for $3,500.
Nice.
Nothing,
Yeah,
nothing is for sale. We're not selling anything here. We're just talking about costs that we see.
Yes,
exactly.
nothing's for
Yeah.
sale.
No one's offering for anything for sale. I'll go. I got a quick one and an easy one. And I'm going to say the Ruger 1022, and why the firearm itself is special and why mine is special. And the Ruger 1022 and 22 long rifle is one of the most ubiquitous, how do you like that word, firearms ever. I mean, for a 22, you know, who doesn't have one? They've been around forever. They're tried and true. They're a great 22. There's nothing special about their accuracy until you dink with them, but it's a great little, you know, no problems, no issues. Pull it out of the box, stick a mag in it, and go shoot kind of a 22 long rifle. Mine I bought in 1976, and it has a roll mark. They didn't advertise it as anything special. I bought it, I picked it up, and it says made in the 200th year of American liberty. And I thought that was cool. So I've had that.
Roll mark that in that year, in that 76.
Yeah. And so I thought, you know, that was pretty cool. And so that's my special one, just because it's the 1022 and it's been around forever and so many people have them. They
call them Liberty guns. Liberty guns, they're called.
Yep. And so that's my entry. I've got others, but that's my one for tonight. Hi, Mark.
Hello. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah.
Sir,
Yep. Sound good, brother.
Good.
how you doing and how was your week?
Oh, it was a long week. It was our first full 5-day week of the school year. I'm a little worn out, but I'm here. Sorry I'm late. We had a fantastic dinner. We did some steaks on the grill, baked potatoes on the grill, crab cakes, some steamed broccoli, and I wasn't giving up that time for anything.
Don't blame you.
Yep. So I got a nice full belly, and I'm sitting here in my comfy chair, and I hope I make it till 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
Thanks for having me.
Thanks for being here. I want to show y'all. Let me back up here and get his comment back up here. And Let me see if I can do this. Here we go. That's his newest special gun.
Nice.
This is a Ruger Vaquero, and hold on a minute. I'll tell you exactly what it is. New
Beautiful.
Vaquero Montando. I hope I said that right. Montando Limited, 45 Colt, 3.5-inch barrel. He's been waiting for 8 years for this. Look at that.
That's gorgeous.
Wow. Look at, oh man, aces and eights.
Dead man's hand.
Oh boy, oh
Nice.
boy. What a photo.
That is sweet.
And I
That's
need, if
outstanding.
y'all take a look at this leather thing, this leather strip that's holding those cartridges, I need to get myself some of those made up for cowboy action shooting. And that's a very nice carry rig right there. That is awesome.
Man,
And
that's some 6-gun porn right there, guys.
that
Yep.
is,
Agreed.
well, that's what he says in his comment. He said it's single action playmate of the month. And he ain't kidding.
Nope.
Jamie,
All right,
do
any
you
of
need
you
that
guys-
in, sorry, Jamie, do you need that in 38 357 or 45 44?
38 357.
We can make that happen.
Well, that's awful nice of you, man, but you ain't got to do that, man.
Well, I don't have to do it, but I'd like to do it.
Well, send me a bill and I'll send you a check.
We'll talk about that.
All right, there's my brother Mock.
MCK.
4440. Okay, who wants to go next? Six, you want to go next? You're sitting over there not saying no whole
I
lot.
guess I can go next. They're all special to me, but I think the one that I pulled the trigger on the most is my Ruger single 6 in 32 H&R. I don't know how many rounds is down that barrel of that thing. Just in the past 3 years using it, cowboy action shooting, I've already shot several thousands of rounds through it. So I just love shooting that gun. So, and my next one would probably be my XP 100. So, yeah, I have a picture of that, but I don't know how to do this. Just show pictures of stuff.
You can down at the bottom. Do you have a
Present.
yeah? Present, and then light up, highlight your picture of it, and then I can put it up on the live stream. Big Al, I have one. I can't show it to you, but it's right there. Actually, I have two. One's a 12 gauge, the other one's a 16.
I'd have to do some uploading and stuff for it, but it says, let me see if I can figure out how to do that. And we can come back. Somebody else can go now.
Okay. Pat?
Yeah. Well, I'm going to kind of follow along with Walter's theme. It's got a special place in my heart, and a special place just because it's special. Got out of college, graduated and everything, and as a gift to myself, I bought a Henry lever action 22, just a plain Jane one, nothing fancy, but I wound up putting the large lever loop on it. That way, when I was bullseyeing raccoons out of the feed bunk at the feed yard and everything, getting rid of pests and everything during the winter, and everything. And man, I've carried that gun to hell and back several times with me. And every single time I put that thing, I've never had to mess with the sights on it or nothing. Every time I've pointed that gun at a pest or a coyote or anything, as long as it was within range and I knew I could flatten it, down she goes. So that gun right there has just been, it's been a laser beam. It just, everywhere I point it, something's going down, or it's always on target. It just, I don't know what it is about that rifle.
There's some of them that just fit us like that. It's almost like we just think where we want that bullet to go, and
Yep.
it just right there.
Yeah, and it doesn't matter, as long as I'm running decent and above ammo in that, because trust me, I've ran some junk through it before, and it was like, I don't like that. But as long as it was decent and above on ammo grade, man, that thing, it was just always been spot on. Always been spot. I don't know. It's like me, it got the ESP and the telepathy thing going on. When that thing gets welded to my shoulder, it's just lights out. Always been probably the best rifle I own. Just pick up, just go.
Very good, very good. Y'all may have noticed that the Scotsman's not here tonight. And earlier this week, I was texting back and forth with him, and he instead of going to bed like a normal person does when they get off a third shift, he stays up and he's working on guns. And I think it's a Winchester 52 he's working on right now, and that will probably turn into his special gun. So, who wants to go next? Hillbilly, you got a special gun? You got some pictures you can show us?
Oh,
If you say High Point, I'm leaving.
I don't have any pictures loaded up or nothing. I was a little confused. Like I didn't know, like when we were started out, when you put this in there, you said, well, not sentimental and stuff. So I'm like, I thought, well, maybe guns that throughout history.
Grail guns, something you always wanted, you finally got. Like
but for ones that I actually have, yeah, I got a few. The Winchester 12 gauge Model 12, or dang, my mind went blank there for a second. Model 19. Just because it was something that they had used and like kind of helped change part of the war there as far as keeping people out of the trenches and stuff. And I thought it was really cool to have an old one like that. And I got a few Ithacas, and they're no longer made. Little Ithaca 22 lever action single shot. The one I have is not the one that I had growing up, but it's just like it. An Ithaca 12 gauge, and then of course what was I going to say? Doggone it. Well, I think that's it for now. I remember what the other one was. I'll come back to you.
All right. We'll be here till 10 o'clock, brother. I want to go back and get, let me get this comment right here back up there. Glenn Davis wanted to know what bullet weight are you running for your 32 H&R?
I run anything from a 78 up to 100, and I think CW sent me some 120 grainers.
Yep. 130, 130.
I think the 130s wouldn't work in the H&R though. I had you run them in the 327.
Yeah, that's made for the 327 S7.
And there's sixes. That's
Look
an
at that.
interesting thing. I think I know what that is, but you go ahead and tell us about it, Six.
That's a XP 100
Mhm.
made by Remington and 7mm bench rest. I have taken deer with it, shot long range silhouettes with it.
It's been around a while, and it still looks like a modern day space age firearm, doesn't it, boys? Look at that rascal.
It does.
That is sweet. Wow.
Okay.
It was ahead of its time, I think, when they first came out with that, but I still like that.
Oh, they
Yeah.
they got a lot of people that still shoot them, and they got wood stocks on them and all that stuff.
Love that white diamond inlaid in there.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
That's that nylon 66 type stock.
Yeah.
Yep.
Wow.
Yeah.
Look at
One
this.
trademark.
All right. Here we
It's-
go.
it-
Here.
It's just a sexy looking, pistol. It's just great.
Well, the theory has it that was what was used in the JFK assassination from the front shot. And I can see how that would be very easily concealed and deployed and then reconcealed and walked away with.
Yeah, like Mike Hester said, that's a Model 600 is the action that they came out with.
Yeah. It's a 600 with a hand grip. Very
Yeah.
cool. All right, let's see if
Yeah.
we can do this. And let me. This is from Kentucky Rimfire and Hobbies.
Mhm.
Chad over there. Let's see if we can get this one up. This is his special gun.
Nice.
So tell us about it, Chad. Let me see if he put anything in that email. Winchester 52A holds 2 records with it. He holds 2 records with it. So, yeah, he put that in the email. So that's what Scotsman is working on, basically. And look at that scope. That's an old school scope for sure.
That's cool.
That is sweet.
And those mounts. Let me see if I can blow up on that. On those mounts. Let's get a look at those mounts. No, apparently not. Come on, baby. All right, here we go.
Okay, well, I'm going to be the idiot in the room, but when was that gun made?
He says it's a 20X nerdy? Nerd?
You nerdle. You
Nerd.
Look
nerdle.
at that optic. Holy moly.
This is one like CW's been telling us about in past weeks. You can look up there. It has an adjustable objective, but it's a tube, and apparently you're adjusting the
Correct. The mount adjusts the sight in.
right.
Crosshair stays stable, stay stationary.
That is so cool, so old school. I love it. All right, let's.
Isn't it interesting how many, different variations there are with optics? we look at the optics that we've been talking about today from Monstrum and Discovery and some of these guys. They're similar in appearance, but you take one like that, considerably different. And not just in the obvious length, but in the adjustments and the mounting and all that kind of stuff. Nice shot, CW. you too. But it's fascinating to go back and look at some of these great firearms and some of the optics that folks used on them in days past. So that's a great entry right there. I like that.
Yeah, I like that too.
Yeah, no, that's super cool.
No click adjustments there.
Very boat right there, scoop.
That one actually
Yep.
has a spring on it, Chuck. You don't have to reset that one. If you look at the tube, you saw a spring on the tube, and that's for recoil.
Oh, look
Oh
who's here,
yeah, that's
Chico.
right. He did. Yeah, right. He did.
Yeah, Chico's out there. My question, Chico, is: have you got that Winchester yet? Papa's place said that he did get those 1911 uh, grips that we sent him. So he's got, and they are very, very nice. And he said, "You're right, they're beautiful." Earlier, and I said, "Hey, if you don't like them, just send them back."
No kidding.
All he replied was "LOL," like that's happening. Yeah. Those are absolutely gorgeous, man. And all right, I wanted to save CW for last because I know he's going to have something absolutely gorgeous for us to look at. So
You think?
yeah,
Hit it, brother.
I got a couple of them, and I like to call them. I don't like to call them special. I call them Grail guns, like the Holy Grail.
I knew it.
And the first one was one that I was introduced to as a kid, and I always wanted one. And when I got old enough to buy one for myself, I looked for probably 20 years before I actually bought one, and that was a Savage Model 24, and I've got a video on it. 22 long rifle over 410, and I just thought that was the absolute best pot gun, rabbits, squirrels type of thing that one could have.
Oh yeah.
And since that first one, I've probably got a half a dozen more that I've bought and sold, and a couple I hung on to, and I got a couple of rarer ones. A few years ago, a friend of a friend called me up and said, "Are you looking for this particular gun?" And I said, "Well, yeah, I've been looking for that a long time." I said, "Who is this?" He says, "Oh, this is so and so." He said, "You don't really know me, but you know this other guy. He gave me your number. I hope you don't mind." I said, "No, I don't mind. What's going on?" "Oh, this local shop I'm in. I live in West Virginia." He says, "I gave the guy $50 because I thought you wanted it." I never met the guy.
Wow.
Wow.
Never met him. He's a friend of a friend. And I said, "Well, yeah. Do you have any pictures? Do you have anything?" He says, "Yeah." He says, "Really nice. I looked it all over." He says, "But I gave him $50. He says, I'll give you all the information. You can send him down the money, and he'll give me my $50 back out of the money you send him." I said, "Okay, that's great. That's great." So I got the picture, sent it down. It's a 357 maximum over 20 gauge Savage.
Oh wow.
Oh, wow.
Talk about a hen's tooth.
Yeah, it really is.
Wow.
And then it was a gift. I mean, that's really what it was. I mean, I paid for it. It wasn't free, but it was. The guy didn't know me from Adam.
Wow, that's awesome.
Put money into his pocket to hold the gun.
Yeah, oh, yeah. I mean,
That
who
was
else have you
awesome.
ever even heard of that?
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah,
And,
that's definitely a Grail gun. Whoo wee,
the
man.
last one is one that I'm a big 35 caliber nut. It doesn't really matter what it is, except
Right.
9mm is the only one that doesn't turn me on. But all the rest of 35s I love them. And early on as a kid, I read about that 358 Norma Magnum, and I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked, and I walked into a shop, little bitty gun shop that everybody would love, the kind of place that's got guns on top of guns in the corners and cobwebs on them, and guns on the floor in the back with stood up with like 5 levels deep, and just long
Yeah.
guns everywhere.
Yeah.
A reloading section that would just make you drool with every powder you could imagine and every bullet you could imagine from 50 years ago. There's things in there, and just boxes of stuff you can go through that is everything in the box is $5 type of thing. And just you'd think there would be everything in the world in there. And I was talking to the guy, and I said, I've been looking for a 358 Norma Magnum. And he says, wait a minute. And he goes over and he came out with one. I didn't buy it. It was a Mauser 98, and somebody had very, very nicely. It was something that should have been put on the wall. Very nicely engraved the wood, carved the wood to all these embossed, and it was beautiful. It was a work of art, and it was so thin in the wrist through the pistol grip and out in the forend. The gun probably weighed 6 pounds, 6.5 pounds. And if you know anything about the 358 Norma Mag, it's a powerhouse. It's the one I have shoots 250 grain bullets at almost 2,900 feet per second.
Wow.
It's side by side. What's that big 338 the military has? The
40 millimeter Gatling gun out of that.
no, it's a 338 Lapua.
Lapua, yeah, they got
The big giant one. That's what that does. But it's like unheard of. You just don't hear about it here. The United States isn't big on 35 caliber for some reason. The 35 Rem is the only one that's really hung on for us. There's been a whole handful of other ones, and there's a little bit of following here and there. 35 Whalen and 358 and such. Now the 350 Legend, of course, has got a big following. But by and large, 35s through the years just haven't caught on. They're just not. 338 is far more popular, and it's a little bit smaller bullet. Anyway, I found through another friend talking to a guy in Texas, and we actually got to be, friendly. We exchanged texts a whole bunch of times, and then we called each other and had a couple of phone calls. And he had a rifle for sale, and I bought it. He sent it to my FFL. I went there and did the paperwork and picked it up. And a few days later, I get a big box in the mail. Now, he had all kinds of reloading stuff that I elected not to buy because I had most of what I needed, and I didn't need it, and I didn't want to spend the money double to get it. Well, we went back and forth, negotiated a little on cost, and I think he ended up keeping the scope, and the rifle price went down, and yada yada yada. In that box was all the reloading stuff, because he was an older gentleman, and he wasn't going to use it, and he said, he says, I just selling it because it has value, but he says, I really like talking to you so much, and I know you're going to love this and use it, and I decided just to send it to you. So he sent me brass and bullets and dies and oh my goodness, just bigger than a large flat rate postal service box, jam packed full, full. And it's a nice rifle. It's a rebore of a 7mm mag push feed Winchester, but it's in a custom stock. It shoots really good. It's a rebore. So they take the firearm and they actually drill the barrel out and rebore it for a larger caliber and then rechamber it. And it shoots really good. The only thing I had to do, it's one of the only guns that have ever fouled my powder coated bullets. And I kind of got worried when I found that. But what I found was that just a lot of the people that do these reboring jobs, they charge extra to polish after they bore it. And a lot of people elect not to do it. If you're shooting jacketed bullets, it's going to polish up after a couple hundred rounds and it's going to be fine. So it's kind of for a hunting accuracy, it's kind of a waste of money. But with the cast bullets and the powder coating, it makes it sharp, and it would actually lead. And that's what I found. And I just spent about a half an hour with JB Weld and Croyle, and I polished it up, and it doesn't have any more leading problems, and it shoots really, really good. I shoot those big, giant 310 grain cast bullets that I have at about 2,000, 2,100 feet per second. And they shoot really well. Of course, I don't have any T-Rexes running around the neighborhood that I can harvest with it, but I'm ready if they come back.
Man, things that bring a smile to your face.
Be a great Tommy gun too.
So, what calibers were the Winchester big bores?
375 Winchester. The what? Yeah, they did a 307 too, and a 356. Yeah. Marlin also did them, but Marlin never released a 307. They cataloged it. I don't believe they ever released any. I know they made a few of them, and the 356 is one that's pretty sought after with a Marlin. And 375. I have a model 375. And I have a 375S, which is just the same gun with a safety. And I've got some videos on that one. Basically, Winchester took the 94 and they had a little extra steel through the lug in the back. It's a rear locking action, and the lug slides up and down. Those are the two little silver bars you see on the top of the action when you look at the top of the firearm. And they basically just thickened up the steel around the back there. The 307 is basically just a rimmed 308 that they loaded down a little bit. The 356 is just a rimmed 358 that they loaded down a little bit. And the 375 is like a 3855 on steroids. So it's full power cartridge.
All right, guys, I'm going to bail out. It's been a long week. Oh.
All right, Andy.
Good night, Andy.
Andy,
Good night,
thank you for
everyone.
joining
Hi,
us.
Andy.
Hi, Andy. We'll see you
Good night,
later.
Andy. Thanks for joining us tonight.
I would love to see his Dan Wesson in live
Oh,
living
boy.
color.
We've talked about some really cool guns tonight and seen some really cool guns tonight.
Marlin did the 308 Marlin, 338 Marlin
Yep.
Express, and the 450 Marlin.
Yep.
And they also did the 444.
Yep.
Now, some people call it the 44-440. Now, that'd be a tractor gun. If y'all know John Deere, you know what I'm talking about, 4440.
Bulldogs put this out there a couple of times, so I think we need to show it. The 950 JDJ.
That's a handful.
That's nearly an inch.
Yep. It's a big one.
Nope.
Okay,
Ain't going to my shoulder.
I'll show mine now if I can. I love showing these pictures. Maybe we need to do a segment like Gary does where they
Show us your Gorn.
All right, can y'all see that?
Yes,
Oh
sir. I
yeah.
see a nice
Sure.
flat top on that sucker.
That
Nice.
is that's a Ruger new model Black Hawk flat top. It's a Lipsy special, and I really love those grips on that gun.
Mm-hmm.
They're walnut, but that flat top makes it special. And another thing that makes it special is um, when I started doing research, and I haven't done all that I want to, but Lipsy commissioned Ruger to make these guns because people were taking the old model Black Hawk frames. Now, this is my understanding of it. If y'all know better or different, please enlighten me because it's my gun and I want to know all I can about it. But people were taking the old model Black Hawk frames in 357 and having buying a new cylinder in 44 special and having their gunsmiths fit the cylinder and add a put on a new 44 special barrel. And so Lipsy ordered 20,000 of them from Ruger, and they were made in 2009 and in 2010, and they were 10,000 of each. And
Wow.
basically, the these are 44 special guns, and they're on a 357 old model frame, but they call it a new model Black Hawk. So that's what I know about it. And if any of you guys know anything at all about these, and Thorzak says he has one, but his is a Bisley, which is basically what Bisley is a different grip frame.
Mm-hmm.
It's closer to the trigger, but it comes down longer. It's a longer frame.
Yeah, the back of the grips kind of sheared off a little bit more than that one is kind of pointed. If you look at the back of that grip, and their Ruger's Bisley models are kind of sheared off back there and a little straighter down.
And longer.
Yep.
They go down further. They're probably
Yep.
what, half an inch, 3/8 of an inch.
Something like that. Yeah. Boy, that's a special revolver in a couple of different ways, Jamie. I mean that's just got special written all over it, doesn't it?
It kind of does, and that's my entry for the night. And uh, I was actually ridiculed for buying a 44 special instead of a 44 Magnum because the people that were doing the ridiculing knew nothing about that particular gun.
Right. Well, and not only that, and I'm here to testify. I've got a number of 44 Magnum revolvers. You know how often I actually shoot a 44 Magnum through them? Maybe 20% of the time. Everything else is 44 special. And why? Because I'm a geezer with a gun. And I got arthritis, and I end up loading down most of the time to a 44 special. And yeah, try to go find, a new 44 special issue, revolver. There, everybody is coming out with 44 mags. There's plenty of 44 mags, but go try to find a 44 special besides that one that Jamie has. And I might have to come to Georgia and just like casually slip that one in my back pocket and then leave. but it's a great option. It's a great choice, and you just can't find them. There's just not that many choices out there. I mean, you can find 38 special, but you don't see a whole lot of 44 special, chambered 444 special. And sure, I can shoot 44 special in all my 44 mags, but then I got to come home and chase out the carbon rings and all that other kind of stuff that happens, where you don't want it to happen in that cylinder. So I'm envious. I mean, that's a great firearm, and not many folks, ever get to see one, let alone have one. So good one, Jamie.
I'm the same way on 44s. I got that 44 contender barrel, and I shoot more specials through it than I do magnums. That gun is so light. When you start shooting full house 44s, you know it.
Smith made another one, or made another 44 that a lot of people don't remember or know about. But when they first released those scandium frames guns, they made a 44 special.
Yeah.
And they screwed up a little bit because 44 mags fit in the gun.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. I don't know of any that blew up, but I know a few of them that got knocked out of time because we sent them back. And Smith also made a really nice L-frame 5-shot 3-inch barrel gun. I think it was a 396. Really, I had one of those too. We were doing a range day, and we had Ruger and Smith and Wesson there, and I was the range officer on the Smith and Wesson range, and we had quite a lot of guns. This was when Smith first released the 1911s that they made, so in the early 90s, and they had that 396 44 mag, and I was carrying a Bulldog then, and I don't know if it was my interest or what the story was, but the rep said that any of these guns that we're shooting are going to be up for sale as used guns, and I got a pretty good rate on it.
Nice. And
I sold my that day, and I bought that 396 that I was shooting, and I've since sold it, and I don't know why I ever did. I regret it to this day, but the way it is. Guns go through our hands, and sometimes we regret when we sell them.
Guns and motorcycles, never sell them, boys. I'm telling you.
I don't know what just happened. I just lost my side chat, my pop-out chat.
Uh-oh.
Anyway, GGW does not say Lipsy on it. And I appreciate you guys for appreciating that revolver, because it's, I think I'm fortunate to have lucked into that one.
Yeah,
you should
looked
take
for that
a
one
picture
for a long
with
time.
your Super next to it, Jamie, so that you can see the cylinder difference, frame difference.
Mm-hmm.
Didn't you buy a Super Blackhawk?
I did.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll do a video on the two of them.
That'd be good. I'd love to see a video.
Yeah,
a range video.
That'd be a good video.
Yeah.
I've got an early short frame 357 4 5/8 Ruger 3-screw. It's a really nice handling gun.
So you kind of know the difference between the old models and the new models. Then.
Oh yeah. Yeah, I had a 6.5-inch 3-screw that I was going to do 44 special with, and when I went to do it, I went to I wasn't working in a gun shop then. I went to a gun shop, and the guy had a virtually unfired 41 mag 3-screw, and it turned out to be one of the first 41 mags Ruger made. And I traded that 357 in and bought the 41 mag instead of doing a 44 special. I still have that gun. That's a beauty.
Probably, yeah, that was a good move. Try to find a Ruger 41 mag Blackhawk right now.
Yeah,
they ain't out there.
This is a 6.5-inch, which is not a common
Right.
5.5s, 4 3/4, and 7.5s. But 6.5 is not a common barrel length.
So, Walter, if you'll remember back a few months when you were hunting a 41 Magnum, I sent you pictures of a brand new one from my gun shop.
Yeah. And it's just hard for me to buy one that way. But yeah, and I've got my local boys here in 2 or 3 local gun shops keeping their eyes peeled, but they just don't show up. I bought the Smith, and it's a fine firearm. There's nothing wrong with it, but I still would like to have a good single action 41. So I'm keeping my eyes peeled locally. I'd like to find a used one just because of the price point, and a used firearm I won't buy unless I can put my hands on it first. I've been down that path before and gotten stung, so I want to be able to put hands on it. But yeah, I remember that, Jamie, and I was so tempted. And and California is such an idiocracy to deal with, getting stuff sent, from one FFL to the other, and then for me to go get it. And now, even California just levied this 11% excise tax, illegal as all get out on all firearms and ammunition, but they did it anyway. So whatever the price is, I got to pay 11%, even if it's purchased out of state, sent to a local FFL. That local FFL has to charge me the extra 11% plus whatever he's going to charge to import it for me and stuff.
11% of what though? If you buy it out of state and you pay for it in full, how do they charge 11% on?
Because
I understand.
The local FFL has to collect that 11% excise tax.
On what amount of money?
On the purchase price, he has to show it. And as of today, these guys don't even know how they're supposed to pay that. The state they just levied this July 1st, and the FFLs don't have a pathway. They don't know how they're supposed to collect and send those tax dollars to the state. They won't know till October next month. That's how messed up.
I don't know how they're going to charge dollars.
That sounds like a trap.
For it.
Oh yeah, and if they don't pay it, they go to jail.
You know what I mean?
So they're going to collect it one way or the other, and then figure out how to pay it to the state later, I guess.
It sounds like a trap.
You're paying $500 or whatever, and you got to pay 11% on top of that. But if you're not paying them anything because you bought it out of state,
doesn't matter.
But it's 11% on what you paid in the state. It's like what England tried to do to us for having these memes. You're going to go to jail. What? You're in another country. So I just don't.
But they're doing it anyway.
I don't know how they're going to do it.
We're suing them, and even the state doesn't know how they're going to do it. They just told the FFLs, "Hey, you gotta look at the sales receipt if you're going to bring it in, and you got to pay. You got to hold back another 11%, and we'll collect it from you someday." Is that leftist California for you? New scum.
Oh yeah,
it's his last hurrah. He's out after this, but
yeah, let's see how worse it gets after that.
Yeah, let's get away from the politics.
Yeah,
I wanted to say something. The first 44 I ever shot was a Ruger Black Hawk, and I can't remember. It was 11.5 or 12-inch barrel on it. I've never seen another one like it.
They did a 10.5. They probably did Buntlines, longer barrels, but 10.5.
This was back in early 80s.
Yeah, they did 10.5s on quite a few guns. I had a Mark II with a 10.5.
He always said it was 12 inches, but I think it was 11.5.
Yeah, it certainly could have been.
He still has it. I talked to him not too long ago. He still has it.
Nice.
I can't believe a feller would lie over a half inch. See, Mark Thomas hadn't got to go yet, has he?
I don't believe so. Mark, are you still with us?
He's probably gone all Mark Thomas on us. He had a hard week.
He might have.
I sympathize with him. I've been there, done that, been down that hard road of hoe. You know, you guys that have kids, you know, you think about what it's like having one or two of them around the household and dealing with them. Imagine having 150 of them all day long, every day, 5 days a week. And that's, you know, it'll take the fight out of a good man.
Oh man, I bet.
I may have a picture of that one too, Big E. Hold on, let me look and see. I'm almost positive I do. Yeah, this is not how it came from me. Came from Big E, but he may enjoy seeing this picture. Let's see. He may call me an abomination, which also reminds me that we need to get on to the Bible verse of the week. This one is special to me too because I got it from Big E. And
86.
686 357 Magnum, which is a redundant, but Big E, I just couldn't take those black rubber grips on that beautiful gun, so I went and bought some proper Smith and Wesson walnut grips. I hope you don't mind. I do still have the rubber ones, but that's just the way I thought it should be.
Yeah,
No, that's beautiful.
All right, let me see if I can get them up there before you take off, Mike Hester. He's got okay, hold on a minute. I can't show two of them. I'll show the top one though. All right, let's see how long it takes to get from my phone to my email. Well, we're getting real close to that, Bubba. Let me stop this and let me go over here and pop this one up, and we'll put that code up here in a minute. I wanted to do some Colossians with y'all this evening, and there's some very special verses there in Colossians chapter 1, and we're kind of building up to what I want to get to. And in verse 13, the Apostle Paul, under the power of the Holy Spirit, writes, Colossians chapter 1, verse 13, He has delivered us from the power of darkness and conveyed us into the kingdom of the Son of His love, in whom we have redemption through His blood, the forgiveness of sin. So basically, this right here is just the gospel in a nutshell.
Mm-hmm.
When we see he's talking about Christ Jesus, of course, in earlier verses. And what we really should do, I think, to get it in full context is start in verse 1 and go all the way through. But y'all know how long that'll take. So basically, uh, Jesus has delivered us from the power of the enemy. The power of darkness is always referring to the enemy. He has taken us from that power of darkness and conveyed us into the kingdom of the Son of His love. In other words, He's took us from that dark place and put us in the kingdom of Jesus, who is the Son of His love. And in whom we have redemption through His blood is obviously talking about Jesus and what He did for us on the cross, the forgiveness of sins, which is the only thing that's going to make us worthy to stand in the kingdom of God and in His presence when this life is over.
Mhm.
So we'll keep building toward that, but I wanted to get this out there and let y'all know exactly what we're thinking about, what we're going to be talking about, and a little bit about how that's going to come about. And questions or comments on this?
Of course, I always got a comment. So here's what I want to say about this now, and I won't give too much away here, Jamie. But you guys got to remember about Paul. Paul was, one of the apostles, but Paul came from kind of, I'll say, a checkered past, just like, well, at least just like this guy. My past is perfect. My future's not going to be perfect either, and neither is my present. But Paul acknowledged that at one point in his life, and he says, "You know what? I got to straighten this out. I got to get squared away. I got to straighten up and fly right, Chapin." And so when you read Paul, read into that background of his. Here's a guy who came to the realization that, man, I'm going the wrong way. I need to turn things around, and he did. And he came to the realization that Christ died for our sins. That if I follow His footsteps and follow in His pathway, the rest of my life's going to be a whole heck of a lot better than it was in back then. So when you read this stuff from Paul, think about that he wasn't perfect from the get-go. Far from it. And he acknowledges that in his epistles to everybody else. He said that to the Galatians, and he kind of says it again here. But that's where he's coming from. So think about that when you go read these verses. Okay, so that's all I'm going to say about this one.
I'll say a little bit more than that about Paul if y'all want me to, but if you don't,
Heck yeah.
Go for it.
Paul was from the tribe of Benjamin, a Jew's Jew. Traced his bloodline all the way down from Abraham. He knew who he was. He knew what he was. He knew. He had a great zeal for God, but it was out of ignorance because that sounds harsh, but it's the way he puts it. It was out of ignorance because he didn't. He was trying, and this is what he says about himself. So I can't just say it. He was trying to make his own righteousness. He was making his own self righteous through the law and the obeying of the law and the rules that the Jews had set up. So he had this great zeal, but it was out of pride and arrogance, not out of faith, humility, and brokenness in the way that we need to come to Jesus. And when you are trying to obey the law, that's what it turns into, especially the way the Jews had set up all the rules and stuff like that. So, but that zeal caused him to persecute Christians in the first century church, and right after Jesus had died and went to the cross. Remember, he was the one that incited the crowd to stone Stephen. He actually held their coats while they stoned Stephen to death, and it took Jesus literally striking him blind on the road to Damascus before he believed that Jesus was the Messiah. So we got Big E out there. So, and also I'll say some from a personal observation of the Apostle Paul and his writings. He is the king of the run-on sentence. Like I think it's Ephesians chapter 1 and 2. You got 2 chapters there that's actually only 3 sentences. But you also got to understand that punctuation in the Bible was added later by interpreters. There was none.
Well, he was a teacher. That's how we do it. You go from when the first bell rings until the last bell rings, and you don't shut up in between.
Right. Well, to quote Led Zeppelin, "Ramble on."
Yeah, no. Paul is an interesting character, and we've said this before, but there's just a lot of good stuff in the Bible. There's mystery, there's intrigue, there's violence, there's peace, there's murder, there's just there's thievery. It's all in there. And if you like, if you're interested in just good storytelling, there's a bunch of that stuff in there, and you can find it. Sometimes you got to kind of interpret what the translation is trying to give us, but there's good stuff in that in this book right here. If you'll take the time to pick it up, and even if you just leaf through it, flip through the pages and put a finger on it and start reading from there, it won't make a whole lot of difference. You're going to get a good story in there, and Paul's an interesting character. Yeah. Besides the fact that he was an apostle, but
Guys,
right.
and he went through some tribulation too.
Yes, sir.
The guy, he said he had a thorn in his side, and he had a lot more than that too on his journey through life, man.
Yeah, and he fesses up to it all. He talked to folks, and he says, "Hey, here's where I'm coming from. I went down this other road. Make no mistake, guys. You're not looking at a saint here. This is me. I'm Paul. This is what I am. But here's where I am now. That's kind of his MO. What I get from him, anyway."
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, and I 100% agree with you, Viejo. Because back in my, I'll put it, wild and woolly days. Yeah, and that's probably the apostle that I can probably relate to the most. It's probably Paul, just because of what I've been through, how my life has gone, and everything, and since wife and kids and everything getting changed around. Yeah, so I can definitely relate to him. So that's probably the closest apostle I can relate to. Anyway, I'll put it that way.
Well, and I think most folks can. He's a fellow that another way to explain it is to kind of pull himself up by his own bootstraps. He had a revelation, and he said, "This is what I'm doing is not quite right, and I'm going to turn around and take a different pathway." And all of us have been presented with that opportunity. Some of us took longer to figure out which fork in the road to take, but
did he
can be done.
Did he decide, Walter? I mean, the Lord God sat there and told him in his blind state, "It's hard for you to kick against the goads." And there's people in my life where I know they're lost, and I know where they're going to spend eternity if they don't turn around. And I'm like, Lord, give them that Damascus Road experience. Don't give them no choice. Call them as yours right now. See, there I go, getting off.
I like that. That's good.
Sorry,
That's
I couldn't help it, but yeah. And I'm that thin-brained that or that thick a skull, I should say, that sometimes things have had to have been beaten into me, which was probably a good thing. Probably a good thing. So yeah, I guess I'm not the quickest learner.
Well, I want to say one quick thing about Paul is very interesting life he lived here on Earth, and if you're type or like if you feel yourself like, man, I'm trying to do good, and then this happens to me, and and then I'll be darn it, I get through that, something else happens to me, and what? How am I supposed to continue a Christian life? I mean, the poor guy, he's shipwrecked, stranded on the island, got bit by the poisonous snake. I mean, the guy's just gone, he was just constantly, things were happening to him, and he kept faith through it all.
Yeah, yeah, and like we're saying, if you didn't do anything else in the next 6 months, go back and follow Paul. Sometimes you got to pick a passage and sort of work backwards. You got a kind of backwards map to see where he came from, but he had stuff that happened to the guy, like Hillbilly said, that it's so well. I shouldn't say it's so easy for us to all relate. Pretty easy for me to relate, because I went down some of those twisted pathways too, and most of them led into the bushes someplace where I didn't belong. And and here he was able to pull it out, and straighten up and turn around, and uh, and I still say, I'm going to keep coming back to this about Paul, is that he owned up to it. I mean, it's pretty easy for me to just say, well, here's how I am now. Don't look at what I did before.
Mhm.
But he was not afraid to lay it out and say, you guys remember when I did this? You folks, I'm telling you this now, but remember when I was a jerk? And so, if Paul could do it, I reckon I can too. Might take me a while to get to where he is, but
Jamie, if you don't mind, real quick, before we get on with something, I just want to tell everybody, keep our brother Michael Dunn in prayers. He
yeah.
went to the hospital. He had a couple, 2 or 3 surgeries, and he was home yesterday. Well, I don't even think he got to stay home a full day, and had to go back to the hospital again. So just keep him in your prayers.
Oh, thank you for that. I hadn't heard from Michael in a week or so, so I was kind
Yeah.
of wondering what was up with him. Thanks, Mike. I appreciate
Yeah, they
that.
thought they found out gallbladder and gallstones. So they went in. That required 2 different surgeries to get that out, and then they thought he was that was all the problem, and then I guess they found something else, and so he's having to go back in. So
Yeah.
So Bama Dad put us a link out there earlier that I highlighted, and Bama Dad, what were you trying to show us there, brother? I tried to click on it, but it wouldn't let me. So that's we need to start getting ready to go through the room. But before we do that, Hillbilly, did you ever think of what you was going to tell us about your special gun?
the other deal was I messed up the year on that Winchester. I was like, I wasn't expecting to be called on. I was, my mind was somewhere else. But anyway, the other thing was just the Marlins, that I've had, still have, and uh, something that I liked that I bought for several different reasons. A lot of it was probably price point and stuff, but they just always worked and ran good, and so that was just the other one was the Marlins.
What model is it?
Well, I have several. I got like the 336, 3030. Some of those, a couple of those. Then, of course, I have a lot of the 22 long rifles, the semi-automatics and bolt action. I got, a few of them. So, yeah, just those in general have been really good.
Okay, I got another picture here from. Oh my goodness! It broke my heart. Okay, let's see if I can do this, and then we'll say goodnight. Come on. If y'all wondering, as I was getting ready, I was preparing the stream and everything on my desktop this evening, and uh, the net card just goes out, and I had no internet to that computer. So, Mark, I want you to try to contain yourself now.
Oh yeah,
Oh man.
that hits home.
Well,
And
I'll
that
tell you what. If that was the calendar, that would be yeah, I'm not going to describe the rest of it, but yeah, that'd be the calendar.
That is sweet.
so uh, I know that one on the bottom is this new one that we looked at pictures
Mhm.
of, and that is some good stuff right there, boys. All right, I know Glenn, right? I want them all. Ruger squared, yeah, kinda. You gotta love a Black Hawk, guys. If you guys don't have never experienced a Black Hawk, y'all, you owe it to yourself to at least go shoot one. I mean, their functionality is outstanding, and I'm drooling over some of those Vaqueros that I know Six has got one or two of them. Uh, that one that that one that Rebel showed off tonight. Yeah, that,
I don't have any Vaqueros yet.
well,
Me either.
Big Al does, and he has a video on his more than one on his channel. So yeah, James Pugh, join the club, brother.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm vaquero-less my own self. Right here where the word vaquero actually, means something that I don't have one. I can't believe my own self. Come on.
Yeah. So we're gonna start going through the room, and as always, we will let our brother American Hillbilly go first, and because he has to get over and help Gary. And dude, me and you need to have a conversation on the phone sometimes this weekend. Figure out this StreamYard stuff.
Yeah. Yeah. Man, of course, yeah, I did that video. I was hoping that, some people might comment and say, well, here's some other platforms you guys can check out, but I didn't really get any of those. So, I'm still kind of checking, and I have nothing against StreamYard. I love their platform, but it's just price. And so, yeah, put out a new high point video yesterday. Took out like 50 yards. I wasn't on a bench or nothing like that, and it didn't. I mean, it did okay, but I think I'm gonna do another video and put that thing on a bench and adjust my scope for what the distance that I think will be great from 20 yards out to 50, 75. Try to get something in there really good. See how it does. We got Guns, Beer, and Therapy tomorrow night, 9 o'clock Central, 10 o'clock Eastern. So if you guys ain't done nothing, come on and visit us. We just try to have a good time. And Gizzard Gary's coming up next. And I think that's about it. I appreciate you guys so much having me on here. Always so much fun. Great panel and side chat. I'm just blessed to be a part of it. Thank you very much.
Well, thank you for being here, brother. But we want to see some of those Ithaca shotguns. So
Yeah.
yeah, so we're kind of counting on some of those videos. But or you can just send me pictures, still shots. That's fine with a description. That'd be cool. So
Well,
thanks for being.
yeah, you bet you, brother.
Hopefully, I'll see you tomorrow night.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Thomas, what you got coming up this week?
I think he might be being talked to.
I think he is. So, Pat, you want to go? We'll come back tomorrow.
Okay. Yeah, I got a new video coming out here shortly. I got the new Ghost Shake Awake from Monstrum on my kind of do-all rifle is what I call it. Anyway, I don't know what y'all call it anyway. It zaps coyotes. It'll zap four-legged, two-legged. That stuff, that gun that you love to have beside your bed, and when things go thump in the night. So, got a new video coming out on that here pretty soon, and yeah. Other than that, man, I've been super busy with other things and haven't been able to keep up with everybody and watch everybody's videos here as of late. But yeah, hope to catch y'all on Hillbillies on Saturday, and yeah, go check all these fine gentlemen out. Everybody's got really good content, from leather making all the way up to reloading, to shooting, to getting out those classic firearms and stuff, and just everything. Man, we've got the full spectrum here tonight. So anyway, thanks for having me on tonight, Jamie. I appreciate it. Glad to be back here on Friday nights. Like I said, been a hot minute, but I'm back again. So I appreciate it, brother.
We appreciate you, Pat. Now let's see what Mark Thomas has got coming up.
Yep. Sorry about that. My wife just got home a couple minutes ago, and she was giving me a little update on things, so I didn't want to ignore her. As far as what I've got coming up, whatever I can get to, we're back into school. This was our first full 5-day week, and man, it was a struggle. So we made it, got through. I've still got a few projects. I've got a couple things working on for a few people that have asked me for, and well, I might try to get out to the range, do a little bit of shooting. I'm feeling like I need to. I don't know if it'll be anything from the 45 Colt or the 41 Magnum, or even just taking out some of that little 32 stuff, but we'll see what we get to. Thanks for having me. It's been a great evening. Been great to be here. Let's take a run over to Walter.
All right. Well, as always, Mark, great to see you, and you know that I empathize with what that first full week of school is all about. It's just exhausting. Your throat don't work right, and your brain's fuzzy and faulty, and Friday night's just tough. Even come November, Friday nights are going to be tough. They just are when you're a teacher. It's a tough road to hoe, and a lot of mental stress. And Friday night, I was the same way. So, but those days are behind me for me. So I'm a happy camper. Life is good. I really appreciate being here, Jamie and the rest of you. So thank you so much for the continued invitation to participate here. And, you folks over here in the side chat just are a part of my life right now. I can't say it any better. I really look forward to interacting with you folks. As far as what I got coming up, that video I did with those factory second V-Crown bullets that I got from Midway generated 1,000 views in the first 24 hours. And so I thought, well, yeah, folks are interested in that. So I did another video that's coming out tomorrow. I loaded some up and went out and shot them so you guys could get an idea about what kind of loading you want to do with those. And so that'll be out in the morning. We had another Free the Few with Hensley and Gibbs mold this morning over on the Rumble channel. we're gonna keep. I got a couple more of those Hensley and Gibbs molds that I want to show you guys in that series, and then I'm gonna shift gears in that Rumble thing that's going on over there. But we got the wad cutter series coming up, and I started with 16 different wad cutter molds in various revolver calibers, and now I've got more than 20 of them. And I don't know, one of them was thanks to that guy up there and sitting on top of me. That I didn't know that MP had one in 41, and he goes, "Oh yeah, they got one." I said, "I looked and I didn't see it." So no, it's there. So I got that one on. I still haven't cast that one up yet, and I got a couple other ones that I got a hold of since then. So I've got more than 20 wad cutter molds now.
Nice.
And so that's going to be an interesting series, and we're going to have some fun with that, and we'll get them loaded up. Most of them are 38, but I've got them in 41, 44, and 45 Colt also. So it's going to be a fun one to go. The whole thing there is, hey, here's what some of these cast wad cutters look like. Here's what I'm doing with them. You go have your own fun with them if you want. But so that's gonna be a long series, 20 molds, and it's gonna take 2 videos each, because you know how I am. I talk too much. So all right, I'm done. Good to be here, and let's go over to the famous, world famous, at least in the Lone Star State, the 6-shooter Texan. His own self is right there next to me.
All right. Yeah. We got a video coming up in the morning. Shooting some Norma Match 22 at some squirrels. Another squirrel target. We got a cowboy batch in the morning. We're back to doing 6 stages, so got some more shooting to do. Hopefully Sunday morning I'll get to go to the range and shoot some 44s this guy sent me that I've had sitting on them for a year. Sorry about that.
They don't go bad.
But I should have shot them last weekend, but some dummy forgot the barrel. They grabbed the wrong barrel. So anyway, got that coming up. So other than that, that's about all I got besides working. So who's next?
I guess we're up to CW.
Yeah.
Well, I've got a couple of videos coming out, and I've had a couple of questions. I had a couple tonight in the side chat about my strike that I had a short time ago. And I come out of the strike okay, and I'm still under the super secret probation. But I've changed my releasing of videos. I'm doing them on Mondays and Thursdays now, and I've got a midweek short. So unless I have something special that I want to bring in and inform you guys about, that's what you're going to see from videos from me. So don't think that there's a problem. I just changed. I'm not doing video a day, doing them every couple of weeks, and letting you go for the weekend and start it up on Monday again. And next week I've also been accused of neglecting the handguns. So I've got a handgun video coming out on Monday, and what do I got on Thursday? I looked and my new smokeless muzzleloader, starting a new rifle in a new series. We're going to do a little bit with that, and that was filmed, I don't know, 2 months ago, a month and a half ago, and I actually just took delivery of that 2 days ago. So I've got it all assembled, and I'll be heading to the range with it soon. So that's going to be fun. If you're following me on Rumble, which you should be, most all of us have Rumble channels, I don't nearly have the backlog. So you're seeing these things closer to as they happen. Whereas right now I've got videos posted into November. So quite a bit of videos posted for me. Continuing with my calibers, I've got another one coming up, I think Wednesday night, for the short videos on calibers, and I've got a whole big box of bullets. So we got lots more of those coming up too. And as always, I appreciate everybody on the channel, on the chat here, and the side chat is just awesome and rocking. I saw over 60 people. That's just tremendous. Really, really appreciate it. And a lot of people hanging on the drum there for the thumbs up, and that's appreciated as well. We got over 50 thumbs up, which is awesome. So it's great to see all you guys. Look forward to it every week, and we had a really nice time tonight. And kind of an off the cuff, last minute topic, but we figured it would work out good. Jamie thought of it this morning, and we talked about it, and it's a good one. We've all got those special grail, whatever you want to call them, things, and it was a good video. It was a good chat. So that's about it for me. Thanks everybody. Thanks for being here, and thanks for having me.
Well, thank you for joining us, brother. You what is your channel on Rumble? Is it CW Longshot or?
Yep.
Okay, that's what I thought. So go check him out. CW Longshot. Glenn got it. So yeah, thank all you guys in the side chat. Special thanks to all you guys on the panel. I put a video out last week. I think it was Tuesday or Wednesday. So I hope y'all go check that out about the Discovery Optic Scope. And let's see. I hope to have another one out over the weekend about meeting up with Gene and Christine. Thank you, Guns and Water. We appreciate you, brother. And GGW, we got to put that up there. Bubba's out there. Our dogs are coming to Kentucky to eat some kitty cat tomorrow. So go dogs. And we hope the Lord blesses you all real good. And if he's willing, we'll see you next Friday night.